And welcome back, as Blink's unconscious body gets dragged away by giant insects. Great note to start on. Now Magneto's just going over what was already covered with the conversation with Sabretooth. Battle between Denotions and Apocalypse, EMP bomb, that's why their ships crashed everywhere. And before we get into the level proper, I have some stats to redistribute. I'm going to make sure that Magneto has a point in flight. That'll come in handy later. Just very basic distribution of stats. Elemental combat for Storm, because like Storm and Jean Grey and Iceman and other people will have like some sort of elements that they can tie to their melee combat, and I always go for that. If for no other reason than the first level of it usually is like a pretty good bonus to start with, even if it has diminishing returns later. So here's a reason to have Iceman in your party. Way to extinguish all the fires that you're going to find throughout this level. And Toad's a little unique in that he is capable of performing a double jump. There is a dive kick in this game, but if you double jump, you cannot do it. So in order to do that, you just jump and then do the stronger attack. There's a quick attack and a strong attack, and you make sure to do the strong one. Not everyone has like a dive kick maneuver. Some people just do a like overhand smash. It varies on a character by character basis. And this is the game's way of saying, why don't you use one of the characters to make a bridge down? But you don't have to do that here. And in fact, I avoid doing it just in case there are extra enemies that appear like in this in-between spot. Because I've had at least one instance where I built the bridge, went across, and didn't get anything to aggro and I had to backtrack. Also, there's tech bits that you would miss if you just crossed the bridge and went immediately through the rest of the level. Jeez. Blink is getting dragged a long way. The levels in this game will usually have one thing you're going in for, and then like extra objectives will stack on top of that. So the primary reason we're here is Blink, but there's going to be stuff beyond that which will keep us not necessarily in the dead zone specifically, but in areas adjacent to it. And there's a fair amount of stuff to collect along the way, and I'm going to try and make sure that I get to all of it. Now the unfortunate thing is, for a lot of these sequences, where you just get into a big open area and fight a bunch of stuff, there's usually not a whole lot to say, except that like the little robot things you see are resistant to mental attacks. So if you have someone like a Jean Grey, who's all psychic based, then their powers aren't going to do much against them. But in the future, you may just see me like stop talking and raise the game audio, because there's typically not a whole lot to say once you see like the 20th version of this sequence. Very nice, Toad. Toad is not going to be in this party for very long. There's something specific I brought him here for. This station, by the way, is a tech station. These are found throughout the game, and they will give you a boost to one particular stat that's permanent for one character in your party. And why not give Wolverine the striking boost? He's basically entirely melee focused. I'm also going to cut periods where like I'm backtracking just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because these videos are already going to be pretty long as it is. So we have a couple of special units here. And by the way, sequences like these where there's zero dialogue, I am not reading through all of that. You can just use Toad's kick and like decimate these guys. And this won't take too long. And now we can say hello to Blink.
Wow, do I have a headache. Oh, hi Toad. What are you doing in Genosha?
Kid, I hate to tell you, but this ain't Genosha. It's a dead zone.
What? No, I was just in Genosha. Mr. Creed had come to save me.
That was hours ago. Sabretooth had tried to save you, but the oaf brought half of Apocalypse's guards down on you.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Mr. Creed's not exactly the quiet type, is he?
That he ain't. He should have me come along to help. But when it comes to you, old Sabretooth, he don't think so clear.
Why are you in the dead zone?
Mr. Creed snuck into Genosha to rescue me. But one thing led to another, and we were surrounded by guards. Just as I was about to teleport us to safety, I was hit on the head.
So that's why you wound up here and Sabretooth was left in Genosha.
Gosh, I didn't even think about that. Is Mr. Creed okay?
He's fine. It'd take more than a couple dozen guards to slow Sabretooth down. Why did Sabretooth go to Genosha?
I told you, to rescue me.
Sabretooth's capable of a lot of things, but not an act of kindness.
I'd appreciate you not talking like that about Mr. Creed. I know people say he's mean, but he has a good heart.
Can you make it to the sanctuary by yourself?
That's a snap. I just need to wait a little bit for my head to clear.
Good. Both the X-Men and the Brotherhood have set up camp there.
They're working together? Wow. Apocalypse must be really powerful if Magneto went to the X-Men for help.
See you back at the sanctuary.
You bet. And thanks for saving me.
You did an exemplary job of rescuing Blink. Your next objective is to locate the security codes needed to enter Genosha. It is believed the crashed airships in the dead zone will contain the desired codes.
Say, if you're looking to get to the next island, you're gonna need my help. Let me create 2 portals to get you there.
Thanks, Blink.
It's no trouble. Tell you what, I'll even port the entire team to camp and back whenever you want.
You'd be willing to do that?
Sure. It's my mutant ability. Why not use it to help defeat Apocalypse?
And this will help give us a glimpse of why Blink is an important / useful character. So the thing is, the Blink portal isn't just for that transport between 2 places in the same level. You can also use them to jump back to the sanctuary. Although they put a time limit on it, which I don't really understand. There has to be a reason for it, right? But if you miss anything, like any items drop from that previous battle, it is possible to just take that Blink portal back the way you came, and then pick stuff up, and then jump back through the portal again. Now, I put a point into leadership for, oh, yeah, this was something that happened by accident. This is what happens if you, like, auto-assign points. It'll usually just dump it into the next available mutant power that you can unlock. But, I gave Magneto leadership, Toad critical strike, and I'll explain what leadership is in a moment, because it's a pretty important skill. Regeneration for Wolverine, because, of course. And we'll get Ice Combat active for Iceman. So, yeah, I'm going to lean hard into the passive abilities first when I can. Some of them are locked, but a fair amount are available almost right away.
Be careful in this area. I've just detected that someone's activated the Genosian automated defensive system. Reconnaissance drones are going to be painting moving targets for tactical missile strikes. So if you see a beam of light, keep away from it.
Any idea how the system was turned on?
It had to have been deliberate. Someone reset the communication dish for the system.
So if we can find the communication dish, we can deactivate the defense system?
Yes, keep an eye out for it. A piece of equipment like that shouldn't be hard to find.
This is a bit of an early indication of the kind of AI you're going to deal with. throughout the game. Although I'm going to change my team first, because now that we saw that conversation with Toad, now I'm going to swap him out for Jean Grey. Because there are certain situations in this game where if you have a certain person in your party or a certain person that you're actively playing as, it'll trigger unique conversations throughout the game. So that's going to motivate a lot of my party changes. And we just saw 2 party members wander into the blast radius of the beam. And that is what I was talking about with the AI in this game. Now, anyway, the leadership skill that I gave to Magneto, that is something that a few characters in this game have, particularly characters like Magneto, Cyclops, Storm, basically anyone who would actually have something resembling a leadership role within their group. What that does is it boosts the critical rate for the entire team, and it also gives like a percentage XP bonus for every time that someone in your team performs a combo. Combos have always been a little bit tricky to do in the X-Men Legends games, depending on the abilities that you have and who's in your party. A combo happens when 2 characters are using mutant powers on the same target, and yes, this is unavoidable. Like, even if you're just on the very edge of this, or even manage to avoid it, you can still get dumped into these caverns. It's supposed to be like you fall in and you gotta fight your way through, but you can just turn around and immediately leave, so whatever. And in fact, you'll want to turn around and leave, because you'll spawn on the other side of the hole, and then there's a bit more area to explore beyond here. But combos, you will see me do some of them. And it's very obvious when you do a combo, because a graphic of the mutants who did the combo, the name of the combo, and this loud voice that goes, "Combo!" goes over the screen and the audio. What makes combos tricky is that the timing window is different depending on what mutant power is being used, and a lot of mutant powers just happen really quickly and they're done. However, oh, by the way, here's the reason to backtrack. There was a homing beacon at the end of this portion. Really quick, homing beacons, you have 6 of them that you can pick up through every act in the game. There are 5 acts. And you only need to get 4 of them to find the thing that the homing beacons lead you to. And I'm not going to say what that is just yet. If you do find more than 4, I think they count as like XP bonuses. But anyway, oh, actually, I'll explain the loophole for combos in a moment. Professor Xavier, what are these creatures? They can't be indigenous to this island.
According to Sabretooth, they're called Circes. They were genetically designed for the attack on Genosha. They breed extremely fast in hopes that they'll overrun the island in a matter of weeks. Watch yourselves. Apparently they're quite deadly.
So the way to get combos more effectively, efficiently, and more often is to use a mutant power that, say for example, stuns a character or freezes a character, because then you'll have a much wider window in which to have another mutant use their power.
Yes! More power!
Thank you for that, Magneto. It's nice to know he does an M. Bison-esque yes every time he levels up. Now, altered genetics is something that you'll see as like a trait for a bunch of these Circe insect things. Also, general rule of thumb, if you think it might explode, just pick it up and throw it. That way it won't damage you. Altered genetics, I think, as far as I know, that means that they're just resistant to mutant abilities in general. So you're going to see a healthy mix of them and these little guys that are resistant to mental abilities.
Defender 12, this is Defender 2. I've got a bogey on my 6.
On my way. I just need a second to get into position.
He's got missile lock. He's firing. I repeat, the bogey is...
Well, that's unfortunate. Anyway, I'm not going to destroy everything around here, but I am going to destroy these explosives and rocks and anything that might have tech bits in it, before finally getting to the whole point of this room, which is these security codes. Now, upon grabbing those security codes, the way back gets blocked, and that's the game's way of telling you to keep pushing forward and try looking for, as you can see, the other parts of the security code. The problem here is this is very easy to destroy. So that is 2 times now that you could easily just backtrack and leave at a time when the game makes it look like, well, you have to go forward. Now, once you try going forward, enemies will occasionally start to spawn behind you. The brood spawn in particular can be pretty annoying because they're moderately strong, but the thing that makes them annoying is they're so small that they can be really difficult to see. And as you can see, there is a unit here that will absorb mental damage. That being said, I am going to play as Jean Grey because there we go. That's one of the combos. That happened completely by accident, by the way. Most of the combos you see me do will be just completely by accident. What I'll do with a lot of these mutant abilities is I'll just pick a character, use mutant abilities until their energy bar drains, switch to another character, and repeat the cycle. Because, I mean, the energy does recharge. Slowly, but it does recharge. And there are things in this game you can do to help that recharge faster. But outside of that, this is one of the more straightforward portions of the game. Although there is a new collectible here, you can actually see it right now. But I'm going to try and make sure that the room is cleared before I pick it up. Now, there is another enemy up here. There it is. Sinister's Pet. It has the radiated ability. It just looks like it has a fart cloud around it, but the idea is if you're too close to it, you'll be in the radiation zone and you will slowly take damage.
Chill out.
Now, as for that item pickup, it looks like a disc, and it is for the Danger Room. There are a bunch of Danger Room discs in this game, and they're spread out over like different classes. So there's freshman, junior, senior. I can't remember the name of all the classes off the top of my head. But for now, I will get Magneto this polarized shield ability. These are like slightly more either defensive abilities or abilities that will boost the other members in the party. And if you really want to get in depth with the strategy for this game, you can get that ability for a character and then set their AI to use that ability. And that really comes in handy if there's like a ton of mobs around or boss fights. And by the way, I'm getting a couple more passives active for Wolverine. I'm trying to get as many active for him as possible before I just go like all in on the claw abilities. And as you can see, right off the bat, 50% psionic damage. That to me is a no-brainer. Even though Jean Grey does have some other like straight up just mutant abilities that can be pretty useful. And then finally there is Iceman. The blue number on speed indicates that a piece of his equipment is boosting that value. Iceman, I love using the slow beam. I will eventually transition away from that and use abilities that will just freeze people outright. But slow beam is incredibly useful at pretty much all points of the game. Oh, that's something I didn't mention, is these Circe bugs, some of them will either drop goo on the ground or leave goo on the ground when you kill them. If you step in that, you'll be temporarily immobilized and just be completely wide open for shots from any enemies that might happen to be nearby. Now, this next area includes my worst nightmare. Having multiple AI partners in an area where you can easily fall off the side of a ledge. Now, as you can see, that one enemy has health regeneration, but you can do so much damage even at this point in the game that that's not a huge issue.
Affirmative.
Now, this isn't a bridge. You were supposed to fly across this gap, so that's why I put the point into flight for Magneto. And we get yet another homing beacon. Now, there is something about the way that this game treats when you have a character fly to another portion of the stage, which is eventually it'll just pop the entire party over to the other side of the gap. That was just for demo purposes. There's nothing else there to go for. And man, I have picked up a bunch of pieces of equipment. I am going to go through and slowly get rid of pieces of equipment over time. But at this stage, I still have a bunch of characters in reserve that have no equipment at all. So I'm less inclined to do that. There is a reason later on to get rid of the equipment, which is sometimes when you get to certain points in this game, there's a memory dump that can happen. If you have too many things, too many pieces of equipment left over in your inventory. I want to say that the number is somewhere around 30 pieces of equipment. And I would certainly hope that I don't have that many just sitting in my inventory, particularly since there's a stash you can dump it off, and a couple of ways you can get rid of it that would yield other certain benefits for your characters. Batter Up is one that I generally try to go for, when I am trying to go for combos, just because it's the kind of combo that you can sort of do. Oh, that is not supposed to happen. I knew that was possible, but I wasn't. Yeah, that's a little strange.
Sure.
But yeah, Batter Up is a combo you can do with almost anyone. And there's another combo you can do. I think it involves Wolverine and Juggernaut, or Wolverine and someone else who has a couple levels of might in them, which is they can just grab Wolverine and throw him. And this, they're trying to make it so you weave around through this part of the Circe caves, but the barriers are so low that you could just jump over them if you wanted to. That said, do you trust your AI partners to be that smart? So you can jump over them, walk around them, destroy them, because...
Genosha Command, they're coming in too fast. I can't get a lock. They're practically filling the sky. There's no way we can win this. There's just too many.
Yeah, we'll see what Magneto says about that. But that brings us to good old Slayer Probe. There's another Batter Up. That's going to happen quite a bit throughout this game, and I just want you to know every single instance of it is unintentional. But anyway, time for another round of level ups. I'm only doing this when all the characters on the field level up, because otherwise this will take way too long and I'll be menuing way too much. Levitation's already maxed out. I already have a point of flight. At this point, I don't really need more than that. Polarized shield, don't really like the next level up from that. This will give an extra 5% bonus XP, so I'll go for the next level of leadership. Now, as for Jean Grey, definitely putting the defense on her. Telekinesis is a possibility, as is finally getting Mental Vortex. Psionic Combat still has decent returns on it. Like 94% damage boost at this point, I will absolutely take that. And Wolverine, it's really tempting to just keep dumping them into his passives, but I did decide to upgrade the Feral Slash. Iceman can't do anything with his slow beam anymore. Do get a 15% jump on the ice combat bonus, so why not? Oh, I forgot I actually had an extra point. So Psionic Combat is now at 116% bonus. It adds up really quickly. And with that, we are out of the Cersei tunnels. For now. Minor spoiler. Now, this looks like it's a similar scenario to before, where there's extra offshoots from jumping over the gap leading to the Cersei tunnel. What was Magneto doing? But really, you're just going to end up going forward anyway. There's like no extra stuff hidden off to the side that's worth going for here. And one thing that was good about the Cersei tunnels was not having to worry about these laser strikes, or Wolverine and Magneto wandering directly into the laser strikes. Now we're just back at like regular-ass human-esque enemies, or mutant-esque enemies, depending how you look at it. They, like, most of them don't have any particular resistances or like damage buffs that you need to worry about. But the downside is that depending on who's in your party, they can end up looking like another party member. So it's actually a little tough to tell sometimes when one of them is still around until you like see one of your party members getting punched in the head. And yes, I am being that much of a completionist that I'm trying to break every single thing and get as many tech bits as I can. Because there are, like, certain things that you can buy with the tech bits, but they're pretty expensive. By the way, data discs are another thing to pick up here. This one's moderately well hidden underneath the foliage. I'll get into what the data discs do in just a second, but we have a new friend to meet.
Well, ain't this a pleasant surprise? Little Miss Jean Grey of the X-Men.
Grizzly, what are you doing in the dead zone?
I'm tracking down anybody who might have escaped from Genosha. The little ingrates keep trying to run away.
This isn't you, Grizzly. I can feel your confusion. You're not a bad person. Let me use my psychic powers to help you.
Wow, what a really great idea! I let you tinker with my mind, and the next thing I know, I'm thinking I'm a 9-year-old little girl. You don't suppose you could get Xavier to braid my hair?
I would never tamper with your mind, Grizzly. But I could help you get your feelings under control. Help you deal with all the rage.
But I like my rage. It keeps me warm at night. Now why don't you tell me why you're looking for computer nodes?
I'm sorry, Grizzly, but I can't say.
Shucks! And I thought we was becoming close pals, Jeannie. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to go find me one of those gizmos myself. But just so you know I care, Gene, I'll let you play with my killer robot buddies!
That little back and forth he has with Jean Grey only happens if she is in the party. Doesn't have to be the active one, but she does have to be in the party. Now, anyway, the data discs, if you collect 4 of those, and there are 4 in each act, it'll give you a boost to the amount of health and energy packs that you can carry. And Jean Grey was the only smart one. What else is new? But, I think it's like a boost of 2 the first time. And then, like, as you go on, I think by Act 3, it'll be like an extra 4 health and energy packs. And then I think if you go all the way to the final act and get the 4 data discs there, it becomes like 6, maybe? But it's not just the same amount every time. As you go on, it gradually adds some extra packs to the bonus storage you have. Now, there is a little something else extra in this level, but we're not quite... Oh, that is one of my biggest pet peeves in video games. The item that spawns outside of where, like, you could feasibly reach it, so you just have to leave it. I hate that every single time I see it. So, the path that we're on right now is not the path that we're supposed to go on. But there is something at the end of this road, and it should be worth it. Particularly if you're like me and you're trying to collect everything. But yeah, we'll just change up who makes the bridges here and there.
Very well.
Give Magneto a bit of time to shine while punching boxes. Here's what I was looking for. So this is a weapon cache. You open it up, and it'll give you like health packs, tech bits, and a rare piece of equipment. That one's called Storm's Cord. And there's a reason it says Storm's Cord. There's some rare equipment scattered throughout this game that is for specific characters. Like, you can... If you try to equip it on another person, it just won't work. But it does have bonuses that are tied to certain mutant abilities that the character has. So, I mean, like, outside of like a raw damage bonus or protection bonus, like, there's not much reason to equip it on anybody else in the first place. Anyway, we got another node and Wolverine's going to get blasted. But it's Wolverine, so he doesn't really care. And we saw Grizzly earlier. We are going to see Grizzly again.
This is Magneto. Well done, Genosian defenders. You have lured the enemy into our land-based defenses, and they are being cut to ribbons. But I fear we must prepare for an attack from the other coast.
I wonder how Magneto feels about hearing recordings of his own voice.
You betcha.
I know I don't like the sound of my own voice. Somebody out there does, though.
You were less than formal.
Now, I want Iceman to be active for what's coming up, because I can't confirm that what happens next requires Iceman to be the active member of the party, but it happens when he is active, so I'm just not going to take the chance either way. And you will see what I mean right now.
Hey, isn't this one of them computer things you've been looking for? Hope you don't mind, but I've been wanting one too. So I guess I'll just take it.
Leave that computer node alone, or you're gonna find out what it really means to be chillin'.
I didn't know there were ex-kids. You're a cute little fella. What are you gonna be when you grow up?
Oh yeah, good one, Grizzly. But shouldn't you be rummaging through garbage cans and begging for food scraps at the campgrounds?
Oh yeah, you're that smart aleck, Bobby Drake. I knew you were young, but wow, are you even old enough to drive?
Yes, I'm old enough to drive. I've had a license for... Shut up, Grizzly. Just shut up and hand over that computer node.
You are a spunky little thing, ain't ya, Iceman?
You're 2 seconds away from becoming the furriest icicle in the world, and you aren't leaving here with that computer node.
Wrong, Bobby. I am leaving. But since you look a little cold, I'm gonna crank up the heat. See you later, sucker.
Now, I say this as someone who frequently uses Iceman in this game and the first X-Men Legends, because there's a ton of utility to his powers. God, Iceman sucks.
You're a waste of my time.
Like, not in terms of, like, being a strong character in the game, just the way he's written, the way he sounds. God, he sucks. Anyway, here's an extraction point, and here's a log.
This is Magneto to the Genosian Air Force. You must draw the enemy over our land-based defenses. There we will do the most harm.
Magneto has a plan, guys. Swear he does. So anyway, this is the main focus of this area. You destroy this, and then that disables the flame jet, and then you can proceed through to the next area. By the way,
to all Genosian Defense Forces, this is Magneto. This is no time to panic. Remember your training. All of Genosha is depending upon you. Now form up in your flight groups and attack as one. Together, we will win this battle.
So when we come back to this next time, we'll see what exactly Magneto did during this fight, and we'll meet up with Grizzly and get up close and personal with him.